Daniel Cormier came out. He said that he contemplated fighting Jan Błachowicz. I knew it. And I kept the secret. Daniel told me this. So it was right after he fought Stipe. I was on the phone with Daniel about something, and it was amateur wrestling related. We were visiting. But he had told me that, because you got to remember this. You got to remember when Błachowicz won the title, okay, over Reyes, he immediately called out Jon Jones, which was baffling. The whole reason Błachowicz fought for the title was because Jon Jones left the title and left the entire division. Like, it was the most baffling call out. But you give him a pass. This is his moment, and he earned it, and he's a little bit high. He's high on a drug. You give him a pass. But after he collects his thoughts, returns to Poland, and is now level-minded, he calls out Daniel Cormier, who the week before had retired. It was like 2 swings and 2 misses by the champ. Just these huge blatant ones, but I was talking to Daniel. And Daniel goes, man, he called me out. Everybody gave him a hard time. He realized calling out a guy who just retired from a completely different division doesn't make sense. He's actually wrong. If he would just sit on this one for a minute, if he would just let this simmer, we could get something going, and I can't turn down a world title fight. And I never said anything. I never said a word, but it surprised me. I'm only bringing it up now because Daniel's brought it, but it did surprise me because he was so set on that, that Stipe. That Stipe fight, my last fight, I'm going to win this, I'm going to go on top, or I'm not. But either way, I'm walking away. And so when he made this comment, okay, so I need to tie this in. I need to tie in the rest of Daniel's statement. He said, I considered fighting Błachowicz for 15 minutes and then realized I am completely done. So I must have caught him. I must have caught him in that 15-minute window. But I never said anything about it because I thought, well, there might be some legs here. And I understand where Daniel's coming from. I mean, a world title's a world title. He's in shape. He just did it with Stipe, the baddest dude in the world. If you can go 25 minutes with Stipe, right? You can go with anybody. So I didn't know if there was some legs to that. I didn't think it was going to gain any ground. I remember thinking, well, I would watch that fight, particularly because that division. Of course, I would watch the fight. I would be interested in that fight, but particularly because the division is in a little bit of a swing, right? The Weidman Rockhold experience didn't work out. Jon Jones leaves. Is Rumble coming back? I mean, just to offer a few questions to what is going on at 205 is just one of these weird divisions where that would be very interesting. I just never knew if Daniel could even get offered the fight because, as we know, promoter wants anybody to go out on top. I mean, they just want you to go out with their belt. It's just a very real thing. And the fact that Daniel was given the opportunity to do it 1 week before in a different weight class, I remember thinking, I'll just be curious. I'll be curious where this whole thing goes. But Daniel is telling you the truth. When he says he thought about that for 15 minutes, I must have talked to him in those 15. And it would have been interesting if Błachowicz would have played those cards just slightly differently. And we went after Jon Jones, and it was 48 hours later, he goes after Daniel. And then he catches his wits of how bad of an idea that was, and he went on from there. But if he would have let that simmer, it would have caught him in the right 15. Would have been interesting how that would have played out.